The Aztec Empire. The Aztec Empire ruled central Mexico in the 15th and early 16th centuries. Their capital, Tenochtitlan, was one of the largest cities in the world, built on an island with canals, floating gardens, and massive temples. The Aztecs were expert engineers and fierce warriors. Still, they were also feared for their religious practices, especially human sacrifices, which they believed kept the gods satisfied and the universe balanced. In 1519, Hernan Cortés arrived with just a few hundred soldiers, but he wasn't alone for long. Cortés made alliances with native tribes who hated Aztec rule. Together, they marched towards Tenochtitlan. The Aztecs had never seen steel weapons, horses, or guns before, but the biggest threat was disease. Smallpox, brought by the Europeans, killed millions of Aztecs before most battles even started. In 1521, after months of fighting and siege, the mighty capital fell. The city was destroyed and Spanish rule replaced by the Aztec world. It wasn't just a military defeat. It was the complete collapse of an empire, its culture and its way of life, all in just 2 short years. The Byzantine Empire. The Byzantine Empire was eastern half of the old Roman Empire, and it lasted almost 1,000 years after the fall of Rome. Its capital, Constantinople, was known as the crossroads of the world. It connected Europe and Asia and controlled vital trade routes. Its walls were legendary, thick and tall, built to stop any invader. Byzantium survived countless threats, including Persians, Arabs, and Crusaders. It preserved much of Roman law, Christian theology, and Greek culture, but by the 1400s it was a shadow of its former self. The empire had shrunk to little more than Constantinople itself. In 1453, the Ottomans, led by Sultan Mehmed II, arrived with massive cannons. After weeks of siege, they blasted through the city's ancient walls. The Ottomans stormed the city and Constantinople fell. The city was renamed Istanbul and the Byzantine Empire was no more. The fall of Byzantium ended the last piece of the Roman world. The Easter Island Civilization. Easter Island, known to its people as Rapa Nui, lies in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. It's famous for giant stone statues called moai, massive heads carved from volcanic rock. These statues were more than decorations. They represented ancestors, power and status. But building and moving the moai came at a terrible cost. The islanders cut down almost every tree to roll these statues across the land. Without trees, they lost the ability to make boats, build shelters or protect the soil. Farming collapsed, leading to starvation and warfare. Some reports even suggest they turned to cannibalism in their struggle to survive. By the time Europeans arrived in the 1700s, society was broken. The people had stopped building cities and their population had plummeted. What was once a thriving island culture had destroyed itself by overusing its resources. The Great Zimbabwe. In the heart of southern Africa lies Great Zimbabwe, a city built between the 11th and 15th centuries. Its name means stone houses and it was famous for its massive stone walls, some standing over 30 feet high without any mortar holding them together. The Great Zimbabwe controlled the gold and ivory trade routes across Africa. Its influence reached as far as the Indian Ocean, but around 1450 it was mysteriously abandoned. No one knows for sure why. Some experts believe the population grew too fast, exhausting local resources. Others think shifting trade routes or political struggles led to its fall. Whatever the reason, the city was left in ruins. Today, the stone walls still stand as a reminder of Africa's great medieval kingdoms, but its people and their stories have long disappeared. The Harappan Civilization. The Harappan or Indus Valley Civilization was one of the world's first great city-building cultures, flourishing over 4,000 years ago. Cities like Harappa and Mohenjo-daro were built with carefully planned streets, drainage systems and large public buildings. Their trade networks stretch across what is now Pakistan, India and even Mesopotamia. But around 1900 BCE, these cities began to decline. Most Historians believe climate change played a key role. Rivers like the Saraswati dried up, cutting off water supplies. Farming became impossible. Without food and trade, cities were abandoned. The Harappans left behind thousands of clay tablets covered in writing. But to this day, no one has fully decoded their script. The civilization that once led in urban planning and engineering vanished, leaving behind a silent mystery. The Inca Empire. The Inca Empire was largest pre-Columbian America. It stretched along the Andes Mountains from Ecuador to Chile. The Incas built incredible cities like Cusco and Machu Picchu, along with a network of roads and rope bridges that connected the empire across mountains and valleys. But in 1532, Spanish conquistador Francisco Pizarro arrived. He captured the Inca emperor Atahualpa through trickery. The Spanish demanded gold for his release, but killed him anyway. The Incas were already weakened by civil war and smallpox, which had arrived before the Spanish even set foot in the empire. With their leadership gone and their people dying from disease, the Inca Empire quickly collapsed. Spanish forces took over, and centuries of culture, language and tradition were wiped out or absorbed into Spanish colonial rule. The Khmer Empire. The Khmer Empire, based in what is now Cambodia, dominated Southeast Asia from the 9th to the 15th century. Its most famous achievement was Angkor Wat, a massive temple complex built to honor Hindu and later Buddhist gods. Angkor wasn't just a temple, it was part of a massive city filled with canals, reservoirs and roads, showing the Khmer's advanced engineering skills. But even the strongest empires fall. By the 15th century, long periods of drought followed by floods damaged their water systems, leaving the city vulnerable. On top of that, attacks from neighboring kingdoms weakened the empire even further. Eventually, the great city of Angkor was abandoned and swallowed by the jungle. When European explorers arrived centuries later, they found only ruins. What was once Southeast Asia's powerhouse and quietly collapsed, leaving behind one of the world's greatest archaeological wonders. The Maya Civilization. The Maya civilization thrived in Central America for over 1,000 years. They built massive stone pyramids, created one of the world's most accurate calendars, and developed the writing system of hieroglyphs. Their cities, the Tikal and Paleng, were political and religious centers filled with palaces, temples and ball courts. But around the 9th century, many of these major cities were suddenly abandoned. Experts believe a combination of drought, overfarming and constant warfare led to their collapse. The land could no longer support the population and cities became empty. However, the Maya people didn't disappear. Small kingdoms survived for centuries. But when the Spanish arrived in the 1500s, they finished what nature and war had already started, bringing the Maya civilization's political power to an end. The people, though, still live in Central America today, keeping parts of their culture alive. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you found it interesting or learned something new, make sure to leave a like, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. Thanks again and see you next time.